Good evening, good Monday evening, and thank you for joining me tonight as we start off the month of March. Doing so, of course, after torrential flooding throughout much of the viewing area and elsewhere. This was the front page of the Sagersville Independent just last week. Folks still recovering from the ice storm. And now on top of that, many of those same people, many others, now trying to evaluate damages to many homes, businesses, and other structures, a lot of property damage, the likes of which we will not know for quite some time. We'll have updates tonight on road conditions and the like, as much information as I can get to you in the next half hour, what is left of it, before we hear from some of our local officials in that regards. Let's take a quick look at a few scenes that developed last evening after some 4 to 5 inches of rain fell over Sagersville, Magoffin, Johnson, and other counties. And much like the ice storm last week, where Magoffin County, or several days ago, fared better than everyone else, as bad as it was here, again, there were some counties who saw much more flooding damage than what we indeed did here. Nevertheless, 4 to 5 inches of total rain, homes, businesses, churches, fire departments, floodwaters damaging, possibly destroying some, a great deal of unknown at this hour. Still, many county roads covered. Most all were covered in numerous locations throughout the day. As for downtown Sagersville, the waters have receded over most roadways, and some folks are just now getting to be able to reach their homes or get out of their homes, and many others at this hour actually can't. I spoke with our judge executive a few moments ago, right around 4:30. He was still watered in, so to speak, at his home, unable to leave and come to Sagersville or go to any other portion of Magoffin County, except for a short distance on Route 7. While this is what first responders and EMS were dealing with last night as the rains continued to add up. There were 2 rescue missions going on simultaneously in Sagersville last night that I covered, and we'll show you both, and then we'll talk more about one in just a few moments, but just to give you a glimpse as to what was happening as it unfolded. This was one of more than 24 instances in Magoffin County where a driver became trapped or stranded in or on their vehicle after trying to drive through floodwaters. 24. In this particular case, we're on Lick Branch behind the Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe. The water was already across the road, across the bridge to some degree. We do not know what, but it was high enough to stall that passenger car, and the waters continued to rise quickly, and in a matter of moments, several minutes, raging over the hood of the vehicle, and then forcing the driver out on top of his car, where he sat either on the trunk or on the top of the vehicle. It felt like, and was probably very close to a 2-hour ordeal. The waters were raging so swiftly that the Magoffin County Rescue Squad and I believe another unit from another county were unable to deploy their swift water boats. The Sagersville Fire Department used their ladder truck, extending the boom or the ladder out to try to reach him, to no avail. It was not long enough. Under a very constant, cold, pouring rain for a long time, rescue personnel and fire personnel were left trying to come up with an alternative plan. It wasn't until a larger boat with a larger motor was brought from Floyd County, and a Floyd County crew was able to navigate the waters. I was not there for the rescue, but I'm told it was still a struggle for the boat to reach the passenger car at that time. They were able to retrieve the man, get him in the boat. I'm also told that once they got back, just before getting out of the boat suffered a puncture and just barely made it out of the water itself. That situation could have proven to have been deadly in so many ways. We are so fortunate to report that it indeed did not. Now, at the same time this is happening, the Sagersville Nursing and Rehabilitation Center was undergoing an evacuation. It can't go without saying that this was very eerily similar to 2005. I can recall when rescue and EMS and fire department personnel were evacuating the nursing home during that flood, which was to a much larger scale. Nevertheless, we'll hear from our public health director in just a few moments as to what led to the evacuation, how it went, and the status at the nursing home as it is right now. But under 100, I believe, residents, just under 100 residents, were transported from the nursing home last night and taken to the Harold Whitaker Middle School or to medical facilities because of quickly rising flood waters. During the actual evacuation, waters fortunately started to crest and ultimately recede. No great deal of water entered the nursing home, but we'll have more on that in just a few moments and why they chose to evacuate. Coming up after a short break, we'll get some updates on all those situations, the outcome, and the aftermath as it's still being assessed. I'll be right back. From birthdays to ball games and anything in between, feed your crowd with a Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe party platter piled high with both hot and spicy and crispy buffalo wings, fried pickles, jumbo breast strips, mini corn dogs, and jalapeno poppers, all for just $36.99. And here's a little tip. Always get extra mini corn dogs when you get the party platter at your Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe. And remember, you can always call ahead 349-3626. Jesse Rudd and his staff at Parkway Pharmacy are proud to announce the newest member of their team, and yours, pharmacist Dustin Jones, who's actually the grandson of Janet and the late Paul Jones of Dixie in Salyersville. And his addition of over 12 years of experience in inpatient and outpatient services gives you unmatched availability and care when it comes to your health and medication.
Parkway Pharmacy, where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
I'm Dr. Jason Zimmerman at Highlands ARH, the healthcare system of Appalachia.
Time just did not allow today for me to go back and go through some archives and pull up some video from 2005. That flood, which of course was a 100-year flood and resulted in a lot of destruction and damage, and the last time that I believe the Sagersville Nursing Home was evacuated. Even though it was evacuated last evening, the scene in 2005 was vastly different. In a few days, I'll try to reference that, and we'll take a look back. It was actually nearly to the day 2 years ago, in 2019, that we saw one of our most recent large floods, similar to the scale of what we are trying to work our way out of right now. And keeping that in mind, again, as I said, the Sagersville Nursing Home was evacuated last evening, fortunately, just as waters started to finally crest.
Watching Burning Fork pretty closely because of the nursing home, and the state road fork had come out real deep first, and it's like a two-prong attack, and Burning Fork wasn't hardly up any, and Conley kept monitoring Burning Fork, and then he said, well, it's starting to rise, and when he told us that, then we notified the nursing home, and they started to say, well, we better evacuate or start evacuation process, whether it got up or not, just to be on the safe side. So Fire Chief Paul Howard got his people together, and they went to the nursing home and started evacuations. Water didn't get in the nursing home, which was great, but it did get close. So all residents were evacuated either to the hospital or to the middle school. I think there were 87 residents altogether. They were taken there and kept there till today, and they were moved back to the nursing home somewhere around 10:30 or 11 today.
While many roads in Magoffin County still have water over them, Sagersville roads, for the most part, are all clear from water, at least. Still some debris left behind. Roads in Sagersville were closed last night in an effort to protect Sagersville homes and businesses from vehicles going through and pushing waters already close to doorways and the like further into structures.
Everything's open now. We had closed the city down because of the water last night, because it was probably the deepest I've seen it since the cut-through's been here. And we opened Route 7 and State Road and down to the Ivy Point, even through Speedway there was underwater, so we opened all that up today. So all the roads are clear now, and you can get some of the houses are still on Broadway or still got water around them. I don't know if you can get into them now. I haven't checked in the last couple of hours, but there's still some places with water around them, so be careful if you do go into where the water's been up, and make sure you don't get over like some of the people did last night in bad situations.
Situations like the one that I covered earlier, which was one of 24, that's hard to imagine, 24 reports of stranded motorists who attempted to drive through waters that stalled their vehicle, leaving them stranded and in harm's way.
That is obviously a major problem, and it was creating emergencies when just simply staying home would have eliminated that from even happening. And it put the lives of not only the folks out there that's volunteering, trying to help, but those individuals that are out there making those mistakes and choosing to do that and creating those emergencies. In addition, I think overall we had 20 calls into 911 that were logged in regard to some type of rescue, whether it be vehicle or out of the homes. I know last night at the community center, we had at any given time 10 or more people who spent the night there. I think at 5 o'clock this morning we had 10, and I think from conversations I had, we had some more folks come and go as the morning went on. So it's been quite a trying time.
That interview with Judge Executive Wireman done around 4:30 or so this afternoon, because he was actually still watered in at that time. He was unable to go more than just a short distance in either direction from his residence on Route 7 because water was still over the roadway in numerous locations, one of them in the Minix Curve area, which was getting close to receding the last time we spoke, but nevertheless still unable to get out and venture far from his home, as is the case with a lot of other McLaughlin Countyans. The video you see here I took earlier this afternoon, noon or 1 or so, and in the Lakeville area, the mouth of Lakeville here, you can see businesses flooded, homes flooded. As at that time of day, you could only venture just a short distance out of Sagersville in any direction before being turned back by water over the roads.
Right now, we've got slips and slides, culverts out, bridges being damaged, and we got some that are severe. We've got a severe slip on top of Painter's Lick Hill, where it goes down into Burton, and we've got a major slip out from under the road going over Lacey Hill. We've got multiple culverts that are obviously stopped up, washed out, just completely washed out of the road. We've got a lot of debris in the roads, and that's just the places that where the water's receded and we can get in and check it out, and that we have folks who are letting us know. We still got a large portion of the northern end of the county that we're just not able to get to, especially start looking down into the Lick Creek, Pricey, Bloomington, down in that area.
It's going to be, I don't know when it's going to be that we'll be able to find out how many homes have been damaged, maybe even destroyed, but I know that there's going to be a large number. When can we start the process or start getting some information and some help to these people, whatever's going to be available?
Right now, we do need folks that once they are able to let us know, because I know a lot of them went to family members and they are not able to get to their home to let us know, but we're starting that survey now. They can go ahead and contact the judge's office during business hours, or they can message me on my Facebook page, and we'll start logging those things. As we know from the 2019 flood, we got to have a lot of individual catastrophic damage, and that's somewhere between 75 and 85 homes. I know just from yesterday alone, yesterday evening through the late night and early morning, we had multiple homes where the water had gotten into them. For the FEMA, and during the last disaster, to say that it was catastrophic, it literally had to be over top of the plug-ins in the homes. And I think this time it's a lot more widespread than the 2019 flood, and I'm thinking that we'll have higher numbers. But right now, as with anything with FEMA, there's got to be a survey process, an analysis process, a reporting process, which we were going through from the ice storm, and it still hasn't been completed. Actually, that's supposed to be completed, I think, Wednesday. So here we are. We got back to back. So there's just an enormous amount of issues that we're going to be dealing with when it comes to FEMA.
With that said, more news, but a few messages first.
The coverage you need when you need it most. We are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
Spring is always the time for new beginnings and redecorating. or at least adding a few new favorite pieces to your home decor. And the Seasonal Shop has just finished resetting their entire home decor section with all new merchandise. It's all there. Classic favorites, new trends, and the unusual pieces that can set your decor apart from everyone else. Farmhouse, timeless blue and white pottery, natural woods, beaded accents, bohemian, bees, lemons, copper, white pottery, and equestrian. It's all there. And it's all there with local delivery, layaway, and curbside pickup. It's the only place like it, the Seasonal Shop in downtown Sagersville. Drive safe and save this winter at Conley Tire in Staffordsville, or just go to conleytire.net to see the latest specials on thousands of all-season snow and off-road tires in stock every day. And you can take 6 months to pay with no interest at Conley Tire, 297-2424. Governor Beshear, as you may well have imagined, has already declared a state of emergency due to the heavy rainfall across Kentucky. The entire state receiving a great deal of rain. As of earlier this morning, 13 counties and cities had declared their own individual states of emergency, and McGoffin, of course, and Johnson among those. The governor also held his daily COVID update today following addressing the water situation. And I'm glad to report there is some more good news that came out of today's COVID press release. Some of that good news concerning vaccines. Kentucky getting close to the 750,000 mark in regards to individuals vaccinated. About 16% of the state's population. That number expected to double in a very short period of time comparatively.
As of today, we have vaccinated just under 700,000 Kentuckians. That's 16+% of the total population and over 20% of the population eligible because of age that can receive these vaccines. In other words, that the vaccines are approved for. All right. Are you ready for this? Because it's great news. Because of increasing supply, we believe we're going to double the number of people vaccinated to date over the next month. We believe we're going to have over 700,000 first doses coming into Kentucky over the next month to get in people's arms. How exciting is that for everything we've done from when they started trickling out in December 15th up until the end of February, we may be able to double in the month of March, or just barely moving into April. And we're hoping in April it'll pick up even more, because this week we're going to get a bunch of Johnson & Johnson in, about 36,000 doses. And that's what had been pre-manufactured. So now they're manufacturing. It has to ramp up, which means the weeks after this week are going to be a little lower on Johnson & Johnson. But then they are going to elevate significantly. And so we believe, especially after we hope 700,000 people vaccinated in March, that we can do even better in April.
Other good news reflects on Kentucky's incident rate, on the number of cases which are being reported daily, which are continuing to be lower and lower and lower. We'll get to today's numbers in just a few moments. That good news being an increase in capacity for a lot of Kentucky businesses.
Beginning on Friday, we're going to be raising capacity limits for several sectors by 10%. This is an initial step where we'll watch and see to ensure we don't see a corresponding increase in cases or these dangerous variants changing what we've been seeing in our trends. The sectors that will be seeing a 10% increase in allowable capacity include indoor auctions, barbershops, salons, cosmetology, bars and restaurants, bowling alleys, indoor educational and cultural activities, fitness centers, but be careful about group classes and wear your mask. There's some CDC studies out specifically on gyms right now. Wearing your mask is critical, especially in group classes. 10% increase applies to funeral and memorial services, government offices and agencies, massage therapy, movie theaters, nail salons, office-based businesses. The next one, places of worship, capacity is just a recommendation, but the recommendation is going to increase by 10%. Retail, tanning salons, tattoo parlors, vehicle and vessel dealerships, and venues and event spaces. This 10% increase is an increase on the current limitations that have been in place. Still mask mandates, in place, and the increase is only allowed if you can achieve it while still maintaining that 6 feet of social distance.
And lastly, today's case numbers can also be seen as good news following weeks of the same trends.
Today's COVID update is some of the best news in cases we've had in a long time. 509 new positive cases of COVID-19. That's the least we've had since September the 28th. Our positivity rate has fallen to 4.84%, the lowest since October 18th. We only have 25 red counties as we sit here today, when for the longest time we had 120 week after week after week. Our hospitalizations, ICUs, and ventilators are all down today.
As for the deaths reported for today, they too down, but still a tragic loss. 15 lives lost across the Commonwealth due to COVID-19 from the last update. There's no missing that this is the new McFarland and Tinker Law Office location on the Mountain Parkway in the former Farm Bureau building in Sagersville, just like there's no denying that their nearly 60 years of legal experience has won their clients millions and millions of dollars in disability, auto accident, and wrongful death cases. It's where your case matters to you and to us. McFarland and Tinker, also Griffey approved. Go with All Pro and you'll always get a perfectly finished project backed by decades of experience and thousands of satisfied customers. Always with the best prices on everything from small to large remodels, bathrooms to kitchens to entire homes, or turnkey new construction on everything from garages, homes to retail space. And seamless gutters too. And All Pro still offers 0% financing for up to 18 months and long-term low interest rates on those big projects. For an estimate, call this family-owned business today. More news, but right now it's community calendar time, brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau, and I gotta say happy birthday. There are some birthdays bigger than others. This is a big one. Happy 50th birthday to Laura Sue Shepard from your mom, your brother, long list of family and friends, all who love you lots. Happy 50 years today to Laura Sue Shepard. Happy birthday to you. From the McGoffin County Health Department, due to, of course, the weather today and the flooding, all vaccines that were scheduled for today have been rescheduled for this Wednesday. Of course, due to the vast amount of flooding, once again, vaccines that were to be given or administered today will be this Wednesday at the McGoffin County Health Department, same time as your prior appointment. When you've got a calendar announcement, you want everyone to know about it for your church, group, club, organization, what have you, send it to me. Birthdays and anniversaries are also free in the show. Send those to me. If you want those printed in the Sagersville Independent for free with birth announcements too, email those to Joe, J-O, at SagersvilleIndependent.com. Other announcements tonight come via obituaries, which are brought to you nightly by the McGoffin County Funeral Home, who tells us that 85-year-old James Eugene Adams of Old Lick Creek Road passed away last Thursday at the Pikeville Medical Center, the son of the late Deed and Krilla Cooper Adams. He's survived by son Bobby Joe and daughter Della Mae Howard, brother Deed Adams Jr. of Sagersville, sisters Emma Jean Whitt and Justine Adams, 4 grandchildren, 4 great-great-grandchildren as well. James was preceded in death by his wife, Alma Howard Adams. And funeral services in his honor will be held this Thursday at 1 from the McGoffin County Funeral Home Chapel. Friends can call in the funeral home Wednesday from 6 to 9 and prior to Thursday's services. Also, 41-year-old Michael Allen McCarty of Sagersville passed away Sunday. Arrangements, I'm told, incomplete at this time, but to be announced soon by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Being Sagersville's oldest continuous business is not Fraser's Prater Drugs' most important legacy. It's the care and attention they devote to every single customer. And that, combined with quick and convenient curbside service at the front and rear entrances, makes for getting your medications simply and safely. And calling ahead makes it even faster. Fraser's Prater Drug Store's curbside and in-store service, open Monday through Friday, 9 until 6. Now let's take a look at your Licking Valley RECC outlook. We're due. I'll leave it at that. We're due. It's going to be calm 4 days. Winds calm, precipitation calm, very little if any. hopefully it will allow for a little bit of recovery. Let's take a look at the 7-day. It is going to be a cold one tonight. One of the coldest, but not the only cold night in the 7-day. 20 degrees is where we should bottom out for the rest of your Monday. We'll do so under mostly clear skies before it's all over and said and done. And maybe a northeasterly wind around 5 miles per hour or so, becoming calm as we speak. We will see the sunshine. It tried its best to poke out just a little bit today, but it just couldn't do it. But tomorrow, it will make a return. We'll also see about 50 degrees with it on your Tuesday. And we'll see the upper 20s instead of the low 20s for nighttime lows tomorrow night. Now, you will notice there that late tomorrow night, there is about a 20% chance of some rain or snow. That's like a narrow window, slight chance around 2 to 4 a.m. So it's a technicality in my book, and I'll leave it in there as such. And about the only mention of any precipitation that we're going to have. Almost. Wednesday, warmer still, hitting 53 degrees. Sunny during the day, partly cloudy, just a bit below freezing Wednesday night. Thursday, still holding on to the low 50s, around 52, but we'll take another hit for nighttime lows and go back down to the low 20s. But look at that. Calm, dry, mostly sunny, and 52 degrees for your Thursday after a 53-degree day. Wednesday and a 50-degree day tomorrow, all filled with sunshine above, all of which we need desperately, and will go a long way to helping a lot of folks try to dry out and try to start the recovery process. From there, we look at Friday, that cold front that drops us down back into the 20s Thursday night, keeps us around 47 for your Friday, but still sunny, clear. Saturday, still sunny in the upper 40s, and some slight snow chances hang around Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Mid and low 40s do as well, but you'll notice the sunshine still is going to be felt every day. That's going to wrap it up for tonight, with the exception of this. If you have some pictures, video of any flood damage, or just some good stories in general that you would like to share pertaining to last night's storm and water, please forward those to us here at Your News Today and or the Sagersville Independent. And if there's any stories out there that you think we should know, please do that as well. Again, it's going to be a day or two just trying to assess and get out and see some of the widespread damage left behind by this most recent flooding. So we hope that you can help with that. For now, I'll see you back here tomorrow night. As always, thanks for watching.